That one sounds a little better, doesn't it? Okay. You might want to turn that one off. Okay. Low. That one's this one's a little better. Yeah? Okay, well, we'll go with this one. Good evening, everyone. I think we're ready to get started. If I can ask everyone to take their seats, please. I want to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to the 2015 Budget Awareness Town Hall meetings. It is that time of year again. I feel like we are never off the budget hamster wheel, but I want to say thank you very much to all of the residents who have come out to learn a little bit more about our budget as the city matures and morphs and changes and does a lot of very amazing things in the future. So before I get started, let me introduce myself for those who might not know me. My name is Renee Miller. I am the city manager of the city of Hallandale Beach. I want to take this opportunity to recognize our Mayor Joy Cooper. And our Commissioner Anthony Sanders. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome staff. So all of the staff, if you can just raise your hands. These are the fine folks that serve you every day from all walks of our city. I also want to take an opportunity to recognize specifically our budget staff who's in the back. Budget staff, if you can just please wave. Those folks will be working tirelessly between now and September in order to present a balanced budget. So there's a couple of things that you received when you walked in today. You received a bag with coins in it. Does everyone have a bag with coins? Yes, fantastic. We'll be doing a little exercise later with those. Did everyone also receive our strategic plan update, which is a document that looks like this, with a list of things checked off on it and what's complete and not complete? That'll be associated with the exercise that we will do a little later on. And also you should have a spreadsheet that talks about our overall satisfaction with city services. So I will get into all of that in my presentation, but I just want to make sure that everyone has everything, and I think we'll get started. So as you can see, this picture collage shows a little bit of what we have going on in the city of Hallandale Beach. For those of you who might not know, we are very excited, and let me take this opportunity to thank those of you who have supported it, that we have passed our general obligation bond in support of our parks. So our residents have said that they trust us enough to be able to float a $58.5 million bond to renovate all of our parks in the next 6 years, and that is a huge thing that will change the face of this community, and we are extremely excited for not only the capital project opportunities, but also the workforce opportunities and our subcontractor benefit opportunities, and just what it's going to do for our economy. The mission statement of the City of Hallandale Beach is that the city is dedicated to enhancing quality of life in our community in a fiscally responsible manner by providing superior services that meet the needs of our community as well as plan for their future needs through continued communications. That is what drives us every day, and that is the mission of our organization. We are a very small city, 4.4 square miles, but we've got lots of big ideas and a very talented team of professionals that are dedicated to serve you every day. This chart seeks to talk a little bit about or show you visually all of the services that the city of Hallandale Beach provides. Although we are a small city and we're in size, we are very dense in population, and one of the things that's very rare about a city of our size is that we are a full-service city. That this chart is in a circle to show you that we reach the full continuum of care here. We provide every service that any other municipality would provide and then some, and that's very, very, very rare for the city of our size. One other thing that I would like to boast based on the most updated information is that we have the second lowest cost of living in Broward County. Let me say that one more time. The city of Hallandale Beach has the second lowest cost of living in Broward County. This actual chart represents our current millage rate plus all of the costs associated with our water, our sewer, our sanitation. Altogether, we are one of the most inexpensive cities to live in, despite the fact that we are a full-service city. So that means that we are doing something. We are lean and mean in terms of the way in which we provide services, but that means that we're still able to do everything that a large municipality is doing, and we're able to do it at a rate that is commendable. So let's talk a little bit about the budget and what the budget is comprised of. This represents our FY 14-15 revenues. Our revenues in FY 14-15, which is the current budget year that we are in, was estimated at approximately $102 million all combined. 55% of that is taxes and assessments. This year we've combined those numbers together. The taxes portion is roughly about 38 to 40%, and the other 15% of that represents our assessments. Assessments means fees that you pay for permits and the like. The second largest revenue that drives our budget are utility charges for service, followed then by most of our other smaller charges, which are sanitation, our interest revenues, our carry forwards, our intergovernmental transfers, and what we pay for stormwater. One of the things I want to also remind everyone was that even though we moved forward with our bond initiative and that we've got a lot of capital projects that we want to move forward with this fiscal year and the next 5 fiscal years, we still were able to present a rollback millage rate this year for you, which means that the city kept your taxes level. So we still provided more services, we still established new initiatives, yet we rolled back our tax rate, and that's one of the reasons why we sit at the second lowest tax rate in the county. So let's talk about our expenses. Public safety represents 36% of our budget. General government operations represents 15%. By that, it's the city manager's office, finance department, human resources, that kind of thing. Parks and recreation represents 4%. Public works and services, 4%. Utilities, another 35%. All of our other operating costs at 4% and capital at 2%. But if you really think about it, if you were to add together public safety and utilities, those are the most high exposure operations that we have, and that's really 70% of our budget. So the lion's share of what touches you every day is accordingly one of the largest chunks of our budget. One of the things that I hear all of the time when folks come in to talk to me a little bit about taxes is that, I pay you $3,000 a year for taxes. And, and I said, well, I don't think so. I'm thinking that might not exactly be correct. Let me take a look at your tax bill. And so one of the things I want to try to educate everyone, and everyone here I'm sure might already know, is that when you get your tax bill, all of that money does not come to the city of Hallandale Beach. Only a portion of that money comes to the city of Hallandale Beach. So if you see here, City of Hallandale Beach gets one of the smaller chunks of those funds. City of Hallandale Beach gets 27%, Broward County gets 29%, Broward School Districts gets 38%, and then we have the smattering of other 2% and 1% here for the Water Management District, the Hospital District, mosquito control, depending on the other little things that we have in our area. But all of those things combined is your entire tax bill, but we are one of the smaller numbers on that tax bill. But I like to tell someone this: for what you pay, if the average homeowner pays us $200 a year in taxes, you get police, you get fire, you get utilities, you get landscaping, you get streets. You get the things that touch you every day for $200 to maybe $350 a year. So think about what you pay for cable or for your cell phone, and that's probably what you pay a month, but that's what you pay us a year on average. So it's very important for people to understand all of the things that we pack into that millage rate, and we try to do the best with those funds and be good stewards of your dollar. This is just another representation of the slide that I had a couple of pie charts back. So if you were to split that dollar, and it would be representative of the services that the city provides, police would be 34 cents, fire would be 23 cents, all of the other administrative services would be 12 cents, parks and recreation would be 7 cents, development services would be 6 cents, public works 4, human services 3, and all of our other non-departmental expenses at 11 cents. So that's how a dollar would break down if you were relating it to citywide services. Strategic planning. So when I became the city manager here, it was very important because the city had a lot of competing goals and a lot of competing ideas and interests and projects that needed to be pushed forward. And the only way to ensure that those projects got done timely and were budgeted for and were tracked in some fashion was to work with our city commission to establish a strategic plan. And the city commission did that work in 2014 and established a 3-year strategic plan. We are in the second of that 3-year strategic plan, and I'm happy to report, as you will see in that list that you have in front of you, that we have completed probably about 80% of those things on that list, and we still have got one more budget year to go. So kudos to staff on that. But we have still have a lot of work to do, but we have been busy and we've been strategic about our approach. So strategic planning, and what does that mean in relation to our budget? So if you look over here to the left, this is a very clean way of representing what strategic plan means to the budget. The citizen input, which is the discussions that we have today and parts of our workshop that we will have with our commission in August, and our citizen satisfaction surveys and our business satisfaction surveys, all of those things, that citizen input informs the strategic plan. That strategic plan in turn informs the business plans. So as a part of that strategic plan, the commission tells staff, these are the things that we want, these are the goals and objectives that we want to have done in 3 years. That is at the commission's level. Well, in order to get from the 30,000 foot level down to, I think Beverly today said the pedestrian level, and I really like that, down to the pedestrian level was to establish what's called a business plan. And those business plans are the actual worker bee plans that are established by each one of the departments in order to implement the commission's goals and objectives. So the strategic plan informs the business plan, and the business plan informs the budget. And this budget, we hope each year, will produce the greatest quality of services that we can provide to our residents. So we do all of that. We also link our business plan to outcomes because we like to measure what we're doing, how we're doing it, how we can do it better. Why do we do it? Because that's the only way for us to really have some kind of accountability measure that not only, yes, we're checking the boxes and getting projects done, but are we getting them done the most effective and efficient way possible? So I would be extremely remiss if I didn't talk about, I think, one of the major projects that we are embarking upon for the next 6 years, which is our general obligation bond and our capital improvement program. This chart seeks to show the timeline for the projects that are planned under the GOB. One of the major projects that we are starting first, of course, is our Peter Blueston Park. We hope that that park will start in February of the process, let me not say the park, let me be clear about that. The process for procuring someone to design that park started in February of 2015, and we hope to complete construction by December of 2018. We will then start Tennis Center, and then after that we will start Ingalls Park, Sunset Park, and the Historic Village together. So what's important to note is that really February of 2018 is a big month and year for the city because a majority of our parks would be substantially complete that are included in our general obligation bond. So we'll have Sunrise Park that's on the last phase, as well as our Shaves Lake Park, which will be one of the last parks on the system to come online in November 2019. This chart certainly does oversimplify the work that's associated with that, but we believe that we are up to the challenge in terms of ramping up, staffing up, establishing our capacity, and establishing our machine, which is really what it is, to be able to deliver these services within 6 years. It's an aggressive timeline, it's a difficult timeline, but it's something that we know that we have to do. We believe that we are holding ourselves to this aggressive timeline because it makes the most sense financially. Because we're going out to bond, we want to go out for one series because we don't want to expose ourselves to rising interest rates. And we want to make sure that we're able to maximize that $58.5 million and not expose this community to unnecessary interest payments over the next 30 years. That's why we're pushing ourselves, to ultimately save the taxpayer money. So some of the things that we talked about over and over again while the campaign was ongoing was that a homeowner with a taxable value of $100,000 would pay approximately $86 per year to support our debt service payments for this bond. One of the things that I hear often is, okay, when do I start paying? Am I going to have to start paying this November? No. We anticipate that it will be on your November 2016 tax bill. Why is that? Even though I told you that we started our efforts in February of this year, we also thought it important to ensure that, one, we get the money when we need it, so that we don't go to market early and expose this community to early payments when we know that we won't have any construction actually starting. And two, we have a requirement to our bondholders to ensure that once we actually get those funds, that they're spent within a certain window of time. And so we've been very judicious about making sure that we're not going to go out to market until we actually need the money and it's time to put that shovel in the ground. I can also happily report that we have our citizen survey findings that are hot off the press. We'll be presenting this to City Commission, so we're still kind of digging through all of the data, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the highlights. 82% of the citizens were satisfied or very satisfied with fire and EMS. However, 44% of our citizens were dissatisfied or very dissatisfied with traffic and stormwater drainage. I think that's something that we know and that we're continuing to try to move forward to work with. We also try to focus in these citizen satisfaction surveys on what, if the residents were making the direct choices, what were the things that would receive the most emphasis over the next 2 years. So our residents told us that traffic flow was the number one thing. So if you're talking about major initiatives, traffic flow needs to be high on the list of priority city. Also stormwater drainage, the appearance of city streets, medians, buildings, and facilities, and fourth ranked are police services as the number one issue. So it's very important for us, and we use this as a staff to ensure that we're building the right recommendations for the commission to consider when we bring forward that budget in August. Oh, I'm sorry, I have my human services tab down there that I failed to read, which is 71% of our residents also say that they were satisfied or very satisfied with our human services programs such as after school and senior resident programs. So I always like to talk about each fiscal year, not to be doomsday so I like to talk about challenges and opportunities. Every year, I'm happy to report that the economy is better. We continue to grow each year. Last year we were amongst the top 3 increase in taxable municipalities in Broward County to see increases in their taxable value. which is a great thing, and we think that that trend will continue this year. However, even though we continue to grow incrementally each year, which is good for you and me, so do our expenses and so do our challenges. So each year it is always a balancing act. So let's start on the positive with our opportunities. We see the upgrade and construction of the city parks with the GO bond money as an opportunity. We see the construction of our new fire station right down here on the corner of Foster and Dixie as an opportunity. We see all of the development pressure that is now knocking on our door after years of nothingness as an opportunity. We see that economic development pressure as an opportunity for continued growth in tax base. So let's talk about what new development means. New development has to be managed, absolutely. The impact the services will have on us has to be managed from an internal city staff and level of service issue, absolutely. But additional housing units or additional commercial spaces means that $102,000 in expenses gets to get spread out a little bit amongst a little more people. Even though incrementally we will see some increases in the cost to provide services because there's more people to provide it to, new growth and new development is a good thing from the bottom line for all of us. So it's important, and we keep our eye on that as staff people, and it's important for us to be business friendly. And we have tried to streamline all of our programs in order to do that in the last couple of years. So challenges. Our challenge is the same as your challenge. The rising cost of healthcare continues to hit us and hit us hard each year. We're trying to get our people more healthy. Fitness challenges, I don't see the police chief here. Fitness challenges, boot camps, but healthcare continues to be a challenge for the city, and it will continue to be a huge impact this fiscal year. The demand on services that's anticipated due to development. So one of the other things that we get to deal with as a municipality is that the demand on services when new buildings are being built, we don't get the benefit of the tax dollars, but we certainly get the benefit of all of the plans review and all of the work that's associated with these new units and inspections and so on and so forth. So that's a challenge. Strategies to fund capital improvements. So I talked about the fact that we were very successful with our bond, and we've got a strategy to fund our parks. Fantastic. The next thing, though, our next big initiative is going to be Complete Streets. And that's going to be a multi-year plan. I envision it being 10, 15, potentially 20-year plan on how we are going to improve everything in the public realm in this city in the next 15 to 20 years. It's very important. It's kind of a groundbreaking thing. Most municipalities don't do it because they're afraid of the price tag. Well, we've said we're not afraid of the price tag, because if you don't know what you're up against, how are you going to fight it? So ultimately, this commission has said, let's put the money forward to do this basis of design report that will tell us what is feasible, what is necessary, from the lowest possible utility all the way up to lighting and landscaping on every public street. And we're establishing that at this point in time, and hopefully by next fiscal year we'll know how much money we're going to need and then how we're going to approach that incrementally year after year. And I want to be on record, Peter, let me say it to the camera. I'm going to be on record as saying this is a long-term plan. Long-term plan for improvement. But ultimately, the strategies to fund those capital improvements have to start somewhere, and that potentially will start next fiscal year. All right. While I'm sure that you want to sit and talk to me all day, I'm sure that everyone has some questions with respect to our budget. But before we actually go into the question and answer period, I am going to ask everyone to get that little baggie out that has your coins. So everyone got some coins? Okay. Now, in addition to that bag that has your coins, I'm going to ask that everyone pull out the City of Hallandale Beach Strategic Plan Update sheet. It's this sheet here. Okay. Every year for the last 3 years, I have gone over all 9 strategic plan initiatives. By the time I get to strategic plan element number 9, everyone is looking at me like they have already glazed over. So I will spare each of you the discussion once again, because I see so many faces that I see faithfully every year. But this is a list of the 9 strategic priorities that the Commission has identified for the future of this community from 2014 to 2016. This list shows you the things that we have already completed or are in progress in completing. Those coins that you have in your possession are important because I want to know from each one of you, if you were boss for the day and could make every decision with respect to how the city will be spending its money, I want you to tell me what are your top 3 priorities on this list. I use this information to be able to provide that to the City Commission, along with the Citizen Satisfaction Survey information so they can hear from you about what's important to you, and that's a part of their consideration process. So, take a moment, read the items that are listed here. I want to ask if you have any questions about the list, if you're unclear about what each one of those priorities mean, but I think they're pretty self-explanatory. And then behind you, Eric and Mylene, raise your hands. There's little buckets. They're not garbage, I refuse to call them garbage cans, because that just doesn't seem right. There are buckets that represent each one of the 9 strategic priorities. Take your coin, and the ones that the top 3 that are the most important to you, drop them in the bucket for us, okay? So take a minute, peruse the list, and please take your time and go to the back and drop them in the bucket. Thank you, I'll just give you a few minutes to do that. We don't have any music, like Jeopardy?
As you got the paper, so you just dump them in.
Will just give us a few minutes to put up the totals. Ready? Ah, fantastic. Thank you. All right. So, oh wait, this is. So let's pretend that says Northwest Quadrant. But these are the your results with respect to which strategic priorities most of you have said are the most important to you. So ranked number 1 with 15 coins is local jobs as a strategic priority. Ranked second is safety, security, and comfort as a strategic priority. Ranked third is quality economic development with 4 coins. Ranked, am I missing?
There's 3 tied fourth.
Oh, okay, all right, wait a minute. All right, so there's 3 strategic priorities that are tied at 4th. Functional and affordable infrastructure, operational excellence, cohesive visual appeal. Those 3 tied at 4th. And so there's 2 final strategic priorities that received 1 coin, or sorry, 3 that received 1 coin, which is civil and respectful government, vibrant destination, and quality of life and services. So we'll say those were one of the lowest ranks. So it's clear overwhelmingly that most of you have supported 2 things, which is the takeaway, which is local jobs and safety, security, and comfort. Any questions as it relates to the strategic priorities or again, anything that I've presented here tonight? All right, well, fantastic. One of the things I wanted to just, can I go back to the questions tab, Eric? Thank you. one of the things that I just want to bring to your attention is that we'll be having these workshops today, tomorrow, and Thursday this year. And then we are going to do, once again, our telephone town hall meeting, but it's going to be a little bit more, my IT director back there is smiling, we're going to be even more fancy this year, and it's going to be some kind of webcast, interactive, tweeting, Facebooking thing. And it's going to be great. And so this year I hope that you guys all engage, encourage your neighbors to engage, and become a part of our budget process. And we like hearing from you. We like getting input from the residents. It certainly helps our elected officials make decisions that they know are of the people. So it's very important. If you do have any further questions, please do email me. My email address is there. There's also our Facebook page. You can check there for the tweeting, Facebooking, web streaming event that I was discussing, and as well as hopping on our website, because on our website you will be able to find releases of the city manager's recommended budget, which has to be released by June 30th of each year. So that will be where we will release the detail of the budget. In addition to that, you'll find our strategic plan and all of the quarterly and monthly reports that our departments do in association with that. So check it out on the website. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you coming this evening, and I hope you stay engaged and stay involved. Thank you.